Hello everybody and welcome to David's Kitchen. Today's going to be a big day. We're going to do two things today. Number one, I'm trying to up my game with my video technique. So this video is going to have a couple of splices in it. I'm going to attempt to do that. So if you end up only seeing one video, you know that was a major fail. And the second thing is today I'm making something that's very traditional in mine and many other Italian families called Italian Easter bread or bigna. This is a pretty complicated recipe. It has flour, sugar, milk with yeast that I have to warm up and hopefully activate so it will rise, eggs, some oil, vanilla, and I like to flavor ours with orange juice and orange rind. Traditionally, Italians will make this either with an anise flavoring, which my grandmother Marcella used to make, or with an orange flavoring, which my grandmother Castagna made, and hence my mother made. And as a kid, I've always liked the orange one better than the anise, so that's the one I'm going to make today. This recipe has several steps, and it's a little bit complicated in terms of making sure the yeast rises and the dough rises. The dough has to rise 2 times before I can then shape it and bake it. So I'll be back with some more video clips along the way, and thanks for joining David's Kitchen. Talk to you later. Okay, the first step is done, and this is the yeast. And it has activated after about 10 minutes in the warm milk. As you can see, it's gotten nice and airy. And if you put your ear to it, it sounds like the foam on top of a beer. So far so good. And next thing I'm going to do is be adding this to the KitchenAid, which has the dough hook on it. I'll put all the eggs and the yeast and the oil in here with the orange rind. What's very interesting is this is real easy to do with this. I remember as a kid, my mom used to have to knead it into a big pot, and I remember she would do it before my dad would go to work, and they take a chair from the kitchen table to be able to put the big pot on, something about this size, something really big that she would make her Sunday gravy in. And my dad would hold down the handles of the pot while my mom, was leaning over it, kneading the dough. So I'm going to cheat and use the KitchenAid, and we'll see how that all turns out. Okay, you can see the KitchenAid's definitely doing the trick. Everything's mixed in. This is definitely a lot easier than what my mom used to go through every year. All right, so the next step is I just transferred the dough from the KitchenAid to this greased pot. You can see it's a pretty big pot. It's probably about 12 inches high at least. It's oiled so that as the dough rises, it won't stick to the sides. And we're going to look for it to hopefully come close to the top. So I'm going to close the cover, wrap it up in a little bit of a blanket or a little quilt, and my mom would hide it off in one of the back bedrooms, and we'll check on it in about 2 hours. Fingers crossed that it rises. This is always the most critical part. Okay, everybody, it's been 2 hours since I initially started to have the dough rise, and I have to say I'm a little bit traumatized. I'm going to show you this. It's not rising the way it's supposed to. So as you can see, it's only about half the size it should have risen. It should really come to the top of this. So as you can see, I put the little space heater on, and I set this up in front of the space heater, and hopefully it will rise, number one, and number two, I won't set the house on fire with this being too close to the space heater. But I doubt that's going to happen. It has an auto shut off, and I'll watch it frequently. Wish me luck. I'm going to give it another hour and a half, maybe 2 more hours. And let's see what happens when we come check it back out. Hopefully it'll be risen to the top. Okay. All right, everybody, here we go. It's another 2 hours. It's nice and toasty warm in the room. And wow, it has risen. Look how big. It's basically just doubled in size, almost tripled. I'm really happy with this. It's got a real nice bounce to it. So it has risen, just like Easter. So now I'm gonna actually punch this down, and you hear it sizzle or squish down. I'm gonna form it into little bread shapes, and then get them ready to rise one more time before I bake them. See you soon. Alrighty, well, they're formed. I made maybe about, let's see, there's 12 and a couple of the little smaller buns, so about 19 little buns. And I made 3 braided loaves. And now these will sit for about another 30 minutes or so to have their second rise, and then we'll bake them. So here they are. They've rised about double in size from what I originally made, and they're getting ready to go into the oven. About 25-30 minutes, convection 325 degrees. Well, the timer has just buzzed. It's time to take a look in the oven. Oh my goodness, they look like they are ready. Wow. We got some fabulous looking breads here. Here's the little rolls. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the rolls out and let them start to cool. And I'm just going to move these other ones around a little bit in the oven so that they'll also get a little bit darker. And I'll put them on for about another 5 minutes. Bye. All right, so we're on the home stretch. It's kind of exhausting. It's about 10 after 7. I've been at this since 9 o'clock this morning, but they're done. So I want to show you the finished product here. I made a little bit of a glaze with confectioner's sugar and orange juice, and of course put a little Italian sprinkles on here. And then Steve and I decorated a nice little plate to give to our neighbors and our friends as a little Easter gift. I have to say, it's a pretty tough process to do. I have to just think about how my mom and my grandmother and all the Italian folks out there that make this every year. It's not easy, especially if you have kids and, you know, someone like me running around when I was little. But it does bring back great memories. In fact, my father used to say, as he grew up in the Depression, that we were spoiled because we would get these giant Easter baskets, and sometimes for Easter, all he got was a little individual one of these breads. So kind of nostalgic. Anyway, in these tough times, I hope everybody is finding a way to enjoy this Easter and spend some time with your loved ones via Zoom or Skype or the telephone. And we wish you a happy Easter, and for the love of God, wash your hands. Bye.